Let's go over the parts of the lamb. We'll start with the head and neck and carry into the shoulder and chest. Over the top line is the back, loin, and rump. Then we move on to the dock, or tail. This moves down into the leg, which includes several parts: the stifle, hock, and pastern. Moving under the animal, we see rear and foreflanks. Back up at the front of the animal, we find the chest, the foreleg, and the shoulder. Just behind the shoulder is the spring of rib. The most important parts to consider while judging a market lamb are the loin, hind leg, shoulder, and spring of rib, where most of the meat comes from. First, look at the animals from a distance and from 4 angles: rear, top, side, and front. From the rear view, we're looking for muscle expression in the hind quarter. The rump should be muscular and wide. The width of the rump should carry down into thick, muscular legs. The width through the hind quarter should be balanced, making the rear of the animal squarish in appearance. For the top view, look down on the animal from behind. Top width of the animal should be uniform from shoulder to hips, appearing as almost rectangular. The midsection should not be sunken in or bulging out. From the top, you can also examine the loin and the spring of rib for fullness and muscling. From the sides, you're looking for overall balance. Over the top, the lamb should show length and muscling. Generally, the longer the animal, the better, as long as it's well muscled and not lanky. The top line should be straight in almost all breeds. The rump area should be long and level. The lamb should be deep and full through the leg. The middle should be trim, not sagging or excessively waisty. The feet and legs should be well placed and showing strong bone so the animal can carry its own weight. Overall, the animal should be proportionate and well muscled throughout. Lastly, from the front of the animal, look for a muscular forearm and depth and width through the chest. Once you've viewed the animal from a distance, it's time to assess its condition and muscling by touch. With sheep and lamb, it's very important to touch the animal, as it can be difficult to accurately determine what is underneath the fleece. Important areas to feel are the loin, leg, back, and the spring of rib. To inspect the loin, put your hands on either side of the animal. Put your index fingers behind the last rib and your thumbs in front of the hip bone. This distance is the length of the loin. Squeeze your hands together to measure the length and depth of the loin. The longer, wider, and deeper the loin, the better. To inspect the leg, grasp it with both hands round the stifle. Squeeze lightly to determine the thickness and firmness of the muscle. The muscling of the leg should carry up into a well-developed rump. Feel for a strong twist. When inspecting the spring of ribs and the back, you're feeling for adequate muscle and conditioning. Run your hands over the back and ribs. The muscle should feel firm and thick. You should still be able to feel the animal's individual ribs and vertebrae. If you can't feel them, it's a sign that the animal has excessive fat covering and is over-finished. When judging market lambs, muscle and finish are the most important features. Structural correctness is of lesser importance. Your ideal market lamb's live weight will be in the range of 40 to 55 kilos, or 90 to 120 pounds. Comparative terms: 1/2. Number 1 is a longer and larger animal overall. It has a longer, wider, deeper loin. It shows greater thickness through the hind leg. It is wider through the shoulder and the rump. Number 1 is more uniformly covered, with a more desirable degree of finish. He's straighter in his lines and more correct on his feet and legs. Overall, he is a firmer, finished lamb. I do grant that the second-place animal is cleaner fronted and smoother shouldered.